Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Want to bring you guys a quick little update on Litecoin. It's going to be quick today, guys. There's not a ton of changing that's going on right now. We are still holding up above the 200-day moving average and the 20 EMA, which I'm excited about, but we're just kind of in this little range, and that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to talk about the ranges. We're going to look at some moving averages, talk about some trend lines, pull some Fibonacci, look at the RSI a little bit, and then I'll let you guys go. But right now, what we're going to start here, we're just going to be looking at the candles. We're going to be looking at the trend lines and some support and resistance. We're not going to throw on the RSI yet. But if you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have been killing it for me, doing a wonderful job. So I'm very thankful and appreciative. And I'll just continue to bring you these Litecoin updates and also updates on some other coins. I'm hoping if I can get away tonight, I've been very busy with my other business. If I can get away tonight for maybe half an hour or so, I'd like to go over a few other coins that I've been taking a look at and doing some technical analysis on, things like that. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it or not, so I don't want to promise it, but maybe look out for that later today, guys. And that's why I have that notification bell on. That'll help you anytime I upload a video. But what we're going to get into today, we're going to start here on this support and resistance, and I want to show you how crucial this has been. So what we're having here, guys, and what I want you to pay attention to. All right, so here's our support here at 42.57. That's the line in green, and what you see is that hammer candle that we formed yesterday. And what's significant about that is, remember, we had this big bearish engulfing candle, and I've been talking about for the last few days how important it is to hold this 200-day moving average and close up above it. And take a look what happened yesterday. So what happened was the bears tried to push this price down to that 42.57, and the bulls said not today, and they bought it back up, and we actually closed up above that 200-day moving average, which is a positive. So whenever you see that long tail down there, that was basically the bears trying to push us down, and the bulls saying it's not going to happen right now, and got us back up to the point to where we closed up above this 200-day moving average, and also this 20-day EMA, which is in green here. Another thing we're looking for is a potential cross from this green line, the 20 EMA, over this 200-day moving average, which would be a golden cross, that lower time frame crossing over a higher time frame on the 1 day. So that's an important thing to watch. Now, on the upside, in terms of resistance, what you're seeing are these two wicks right now. Remember, this candle for today has not closed yet, so we're going to have to wait to see where this candle closes today. But what we need to do is get up above that $47.14, and that's where we have these two wicks that we have right here, and that's where price got up to before being rejected. All right, now if we're able to get over that 47.14, we would definitely have a run up to this top here around $51.26 is where I'd be looking at overhead resistance, where we have it right here. We tried to push up here, we got rejected, tried again, we got rejected, then we fell into that bearish engulfing candle. Now we've just been moving sideways. So that would be my upside target. If we get over these two, remember we have a plan for the upside, the downside, and the sideways. So my upside plan is if Litecoin today is able to close higher than this right here, so this was our close yesterday on this hammer candle, then right here would be a higher close. And I'm going to show you guys a demonstration of how this basically happens, how you start to get these higher closes, and then all of a sudden a very nice move happens, and it's actually in this short-term uptrend. So I'm going to go back to that and show you. But on the upside, if we can get over that 47.14, then we could test this double top that we had up here around that 51.26, and that's what we need to get up over top of, which would be very important. And we also need to defend now on the downside that $42.57. That's going to be very important for us to defend. If not, then we're going to be down here around that $40 even. And there we have basically this kind of spinning top candle doji, kind of a mix between the two. And then this is like an inverted hammer type candle, and then we continue to move up from there. Now, what I want you to take a look at here. So you see the close here. Say we were to close, guys, and this is just saying because we haven't had the close yet. My time it closes around 7 o'clock. So you see, if we were to close here, then we closed higher, and that would be another sign that we may get up over top of this $47.14. Because take a look at this, and this is what I like to see, guys. I'm always looking for those breaks. Tell me if this kind of looks similar. I know this is a different type of candle, but you see how the closes just slowly get larger, and then you have a nice heinous move. Do you see right here? And then we closed a little bit higher, then we closed higher, and then we had that nice push up into what I'd almost consider a gravestone doji here, before getting pushed back down into this bullish engulfing candle of here, then we ran up. This is your shooting star candle. And whenever you have that shooting star candle, a lot of times with confirmation, which we had, you'll get pushed to the downside next. But you see how this break happens? Here's a close, here's your close, here's your close, and then you kind of just run. And that's what we could potentially have here. So here's our close. Say we got some close up higher than the close of yesterday, then we could potentially break up over top of this resistance and move up and try to challenge this 51.28. And if we were to get over that, guys, what I have next is this $55.95 right up here, where we'd have this overhead resistance, and that's basically a dark cloud cover candle pattern that you had right here before we got pushed down to the downside. So upside targets, guys, remember that's where we have resistance in the red. So what I'm going to do is eliminate those so we make it easier on us just to see stuff. So those are gone. We're also going to be looking for, on the downside, support around $42.57. If not there, we would look at support around that $40.68 off the real bodies here. We're also paying attention to see if we get a golden cross of that green moving average over the purple moving average, your 20 EMA over the 200 moving average. And then, guys, say all these failed, that $40, we'd be looking down here at that 50 moving average and this trend line to hold to potentially get a bounce off of. And do you remember when I was telling you that the longer this kind of plays out here, say we are even to fall and lose this and we got a nice bounce off this trend line, your 200-day EMA is just going to continue to move down like this. So eventually I would love to see a nice strong bounce off here if we lose this. All right, so treat this trend line here almost like a concrete wall. We're going to see if we get a bounce off that and see if we can move to the upside with strong volume over top of this 200-day moving average. Now remember, this lower trend line, if we were to close below it, guys, then things could start getting a little bit scary, but we're not at that point yet. We're still looking at 42.57 as support. We're looking at 40 as support. We're looking at this 50 moving average as support in this trend line. If we start, some heinous happens and we start getting down in here, I'll talk to you all about that. But what I want to move on to next is our Fibonacci. And when you use the Fibonacci here, guys, we're going to be taking this from our swing low down here. So this was the low after we had this big fall here, and we're going to take it up to the high of this move. And what you're seeing also is that we lost the 0.236 in this retracement. So we came up here and we fell down through the 0.236. Now what we're trying to do is have continued support off this 0.382 that's at $41.70. All right, so we're working in between the 0.236 at 46.29, and that 0.382 at that 41.70. So that's a key thing too, but you can see we kind of been rejected up through here twice, so we're gonna have to pay attention. For the sideways, remember how we've covered the up and the down, we always cover the sideways, guys. Really, we could move sideways for a few more days before we decide if we're gonna make a move up, try to test this high here around 51.33, or if you want to say go off the wick, 53.70, or if we're gonna go down to the downside and break through that 0.382 at that 41.70. But another hot spot where we could potentially fall that I would have my eye on is this area right here. All right, so this coinciding with the 0.5 at 37.99, the 50 moving average, and the trend line. So this area here would be a hot spot. Sorry about that, guys. About right in that area. And I'm going to move this box because realistically what would happen is it would be somewhere, if I can move that, about right in here if we were to fall. Somewhere in there we'd want to bounce off, because we could move definitely for a little bit longer before we fall down into this area if we are going to go to the downside. All right, so remember that we're looking for support on that 0.382. If not there, that 0.5, and then ultimately we look at that 0.618 at 34.28. And if those don't hold, guys, we're most likely just going to be rolling over, and we'll see if we will set a double bottom. But we're not anywhere near there right now. Short term, we're still in this uptrend. Everything's looking good. We've closed up above the 200-day moving average, and now it's that waiting game. Is a big whale going to come in? Today we see a close like this, and then tomorrow all of a sudden we get a beautiful move up here and we start going more sideways, or could a big whale come in and dump it down? And that's why I said, guys, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here to give you the upside, the downside, the sideways, to teach you things, and then you make up your own decision on what you want to do. Everyone's risk tolerance is different. Their trading ability is different. Being able to get in and out of coins is different. Are you long-term investing? Are you scalping? Are you trading, day trading? There's so many different things. Swing trading. So many different things. So don't go off any calls that I'm doing. I'm just showing you the upside, the downside, and the sideways. The next thing I want to look at is the RSI and see if we spot any divergences, anything like that, because those are very important as well. And please leave it down low what you think. Do you think today we're going to close up in here and we're going to have a continued move into the night to the upside, or do you feel like we're going to lose this 200-day moving average in the 20 EMA? Leave it down low for me, guys. I want to hear your opinion. All right, so this trend line still intact on the RSI, right? We have not broken up through this yet, so we have to pay attention to that. But the RSI on the 1 day is moving up a little bit, but that can also be a sign of one of those bear flags. Remember, guys, here's a pull. On a bear flag, you'll move sideways, and then you'll drop down. And what you see here is the pull. We're moving sideways, and be ready for a potential drop down maybe to this area at 42. If we do go down to the downside, would be a strong area of resistance or of support I would want to see on the RSI at that 44. And then to the upside, say we had a move like this where we went down, we moved sideways, and then we came up and tested this trend line, we would be looking at around 70 on the RSI. But that would definitely get us to the top of this to try this out. So in terms of the RSI, you know, guys, just keep your eye on it. I'm not spotting anything too crazy right now. I'm just paying attention to that trend line there, and I'm paying attention right here to that support. You know, and that's what we're going to pay attention to, because if this continues to bounce around in here and it happens, say we hit this, then we come back down, this could almost form a descending triangle on the RSI. And remember, descending triangles break down about 66 to 70% of the time is what my books say. Then you have about that 30% to the upside. That can happen as well. So I'm going to pull that off, and now we're going to take a quick look at the MACD. Remember, MACD, your lagging indicator here. So guys, on the MACD, our histogram's still negative, but it's kind of flattening here. So we're going to have to see if we have any more downside here, if we're just going to continue to tick sideways before maybe starting to go up. You can see that this white line here is trying to get a little hook. If you can get this hook, you want to try to get up back above this signal line, just like we had down in here when you finally break up above that. So guys, these are the things that I'm looking at. Right now I'm on dad duty. So my son, he just woke up and is crying a little bit, so I'm going to go take care of him. He's just right outside here, just watching him and spending some time with him. My wife's at work. But guys, we're at $45.64. We're up 1.51%. You tell me what you guys see happening down low, and let me know. God bless you all.